Gamer, and I'm back with more Resident Evil 4. Doing separate ways. Well, Simon A died, but...
Have you retrieved the sample?
Not yet.
Some kind of trouble?
Sadler knows.
Ah. Your extraction chopper will pick you up at the rendezvous point as planned.
I'll be there.
He was last time, I appreciate it. Oh shit, dude. Shit. Oh, that's what. Nah, fuck this douche. Thank you. Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed Village, man. I enjoyed Village for the most part. I'm not sure how much you played, so. I think the last hour of Resident Evil 8 kind of jumps the shark and gets fucking insane, and not in a good way. Like, it kind of breaks the tone of the game. like literally 75% of the game and played it. Remember enjoying it, but nothing else. Yeah. See, that's why I don't play games drunk, man. I like to remember that shit. But I really like Resident Evil 8, but it kind of jumps the shark. The last hour of the game, it basically becomes like a fucking Call of Duty military shooter. It's so weird. Like literally using night vision goggles and fighting hundreds of enemies and calling them missile strikes and working with the military tag team. It's so fucking weird, dude. Yeah. That game is a bit excessive, I agree. Honestly, Ethan might be the most punished protagonist out of all of them. Generally speaking, in every Resident Evil game, the protagonist gets their fair share of dings. I mean, you know, you're not gonna be scared if the main character never gets hurt. But Ethan gets his ass beat so hard and so severely in Resident Evil 8 that it's basically gore porn. I mean, he's constantly getting fucking injured. Like, it makes me feel bad. On a sympathetic level, it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, what did Ethan ever do to you? They recently just released the next-gen versions for Resident Evil 7, 2 Remake, and 3 Remake, so that kind of caused me to dust out Resident Evil, and once I started playing it, I couldn't stop. So I did 2, and 3, then 7, then 8, now I'm doing 4, and then after this I'm doing 5. Oh no, absolutely. I'm sure there's an entire, you know, huge amount of people that were jerking off to that. Yeah! Yeah, get hurt by the big mommy milkers! Yeah, that's exactly what this is doing. I just literally went through 4. And now I'm doing Assignment Ada in separate ways. I don't think any playthrough of RE4 is complete without doing those. Come on, throw it. Throw it. Well, I mean, your friend took you out, so I guess it all works out. Yeah, it's only, what is it, March? Yeah, March 23rd, so... About to be fucking July, dude. It's kind of crazy how quickly this year's already, we're already halfway through this year. Almost, it'll be halfway through tomorrow. So, August, September, October, November, December... No, I'm sorry. Yeah. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So, yeah. About 8 months until RE4 Remake comes out. It's not that far away. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, Resident Evil 8 actually came out like 10 days before my birthday, May 7th. My birthday is May 18th. It was actually, I got Resident Evil 8 as a birthday gift. Well, basically, my parents were trying to give me a gift, so they just gave me money to get a game, and of course I'm gonna get fucking Resident Evil 8. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, so there's no way in hell I wasn't gonna get a Resident Evil game that was coming out just before my fucking birthday. Fuck me. Oh, that's good. I mean, you know, at least you look young. I like to hope that I'm gonna age well. People in my family tend to age well. My mother's in her 50s and she looks like she's in her 30s. That's like a legit thing. I'm not even saying that because she's my mother. Like, my mother legitimately does not look her age. At all. It's actually kind of impressive. Trust me. As somebody who suffers early male pattern baldness, you don't want to go bald. You don't want to go bald, dude. My hair started thinning at 21. Like hardcore thinning. No, I know, man. Like I said, I don't really care at this point, dude. I've come to terms with it. Like I said, trust me. As somebody who's legit. Yeah, no, pretty much. I used to shave my head all the time before. I just, you know, it was nice when it was a choice. And not, I look like a fucking monk unless I shave my head. There we go. I hate how fucking weak they make Ashley, not Ashley, what am I saying? How weak they make fucking Ada. She's so weak in this. Oh shit, okay. Nope, that just sounds... that just makes... I actually like Ashley. I don't get why she gets so much hate. Yeah, she's an escort quest, but I think they did her right. I actually will say that thus far, I don't really care for her design in the remake. Her face and her outfit looks weird. Yeah, here we go. It didn't look terrible. But, like, I can get behind the redesign for Leon. Obviously he looks closer to Resident Evil 2, but older. I can get behind the redesign for fucking Ada from what they've shown. We didn't get a super good look at her, but she looked good. But whoever they picked for Ashley and the way she looks weird. And she doesn't look American. Like, she's supposed to be the American president's daughter. And she kind of looks like Swedish. Like, she has like a Norwegian look going on. It's weird. They've also like completely taken away her breast. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, my enjoyment in a game is not made or broken off of breast. But I do find it kind of weird how, like, they're increasingly, Sony is increasingly bowing to peer pressure. I don't like any kind of, like, I don't like any kind of feeling like we had to remove her boobies. People will get mad at us, or this might be objectification. It's like, no. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna change shirts. Put on a thicker shirt, and it was a little bit too warm for that, so I'm sitting here sweating. Let me open my chat, see, make sure I didn't miss anything. But yeah, like I said, it's just like, they removed, when they did the RE4 VR edition, they removed the line with, oh, it looks like the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics. And to me, that's just like, okay. That's just, I was wearing a thicker shirt and I was starting to sweat in here, so I'm like, nah. I put on a lighter t-shirt. I was starting to get itchy. Oh man, I know how that feels. I'm honestly just really intrigued to see where Capcom takes Resident Evil 4 Remake, because on one hand, it's like, I'm replaying this now and it's like Resident Evil 4 doesn't even need a remake, like, gameplay-wise. Like, it doesn't need to be updated like, you know, 2 was, 2, 3 was. It still feels so good to play, but then at the same time, they clearly recognized that they were gonna have a hard time one-upping the original, so rather than doing what... Oh, yeah, fuck. Don't even get me started on that. It's not even really a remake, okay? It's like a fucking reboot. They Star Trek 9 that shit. Like, that, they basically did what Star Trek did, where it's like, I acknowledged the previous continuity, and like, now we can just change it. Yeah. And then, so they obviously, they came to the conclusion, we're not gonna beat the original game. And doing what it did best. So, instead of doing, like, let's one-up the original, it's more like, let's take the original game, RE4, and make it spookier. Go full fucking horror on this shit. Let's treat it like it's a direct sequel to 2. I mean, it kinda is, story-wise, because it follows Leon and it's after 2. but like, let's make the gameplay like after RE2 remake. Because they're using the same voice actors for Leon and Ada, that 2 remake, and it looks like they're using the same mechanics. So it's like, instead of just doing a straight remake, they're like reimagining RE4 if it was like 100% horror, and if it was an official direct continuation from 2, like if they kept the gameplay. Yeah. Not a big fan. Yeah, not a big fan of that. And then, of course, they also had to add the fucking, we're changing fate! Oh, we're not bound to the new continuity, guys! And then they still killed Jesse! Fuck Aerith. Fuck Tifa. Cloud shoulda got with Jesse. And see, I told everyone. I said most likely they're not gonna kill Aerith. I said brace yourself for that. She's not gonna die. And they're like, there's no way they wouldn't kill her. And then they showed the trailer for part 2 a couple days ago. And in the trailer, they directly reference, right? In the trailer for part 2 that came out, a few days ago, last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever, one of the first lines on the trailer is Cloud talking to Aerith. And Aerith is like, what does Sephiroth want with me? And he's like, he wants to change the future. He's like, what, was I supposed to die? So they already have Aerith acknowledging that she died, which means she's not going to. So, now fucking Zack is alive. Fucking Aerith is not gonna die. There's a difference. There's a difference between making a remake and changing certain things. You know, you're not gonna keep it exactly the same. And just straight up changing the spirit of the original and changing what people think of. When people think about not Resident Evil. I'm sorry, I'm getting all fucked up. When people think about Final Fantasy VII, they think about Aerith dying. That's like the thing that people remember about the fucking game. She has one of the most heartbreaking and emotional deaths in fucking video game history. But sure, let's fucking retcon it, guys. And I swear to God it's for fan service. Like, the fans are like, bring Aerith back, so they fucking can see it. I swear that's what it is. And Square has a legitimate problem. They go out of their way to make sad games. It's the crux of the whole story. Square has a legitimate problem. They go out of their way to make sad games, and then they try to retcon those games. Final Fantasy VII, Aerith and Zack die. Sad as fuck. Let's retcon it. Final Fantasy X, Tidus dies. Let's fucking retcon it. Final Fantasy 15, everybody dies. The game ends super sadly. Let's make a bunch of DLCs that rewrite the entire story. Now, that didn't happen because due to fuckers of Square Enix that got canceled, but they were still trying to rewrite the ending to fucking 15 and redo the story. They only got stopped by that because of studio bullshit. They were trying. No, I mean, some people don't like 15. I love 15. It's not perfect. It definitely, you know, has issues. But overall, I do love 15. Especially after patches. Like, it was rough at launch, but they made it a way better with patches. Like, people who played it at launch and they were disappointed in it, I tell them, have you tried playing it since launch? And if they haven't, they're like, you should try it now. Like, they legitimately patched the shit out of 15 and added massive new features, changed stuff. Yeah. They changed, like I said, man, if you haven't played it since launch, you should give it another go-through. They've changed a lot. They added the ability to wait time at a tent, like just skip today. They added the ability to play as all 4 of the party members, so you don't just play as Noctis, you can now play as Gladio, Prompto, and Ignis. They added free driving off the road, like you can get an off-wheel car that jumps in free drives, so you're no longer on rails. They fleshed out parts of the story that were there. They made it so you could get more AP. Because in the original game, you got like shockingly low amounts of AP. Now you get it all the time. They upped the level cap. They expanded Altessa to like a huge area. They added boat shit, like you can freely. Like seriously, the amount of shit that they added to Final Fantasy 15 is insane. It's a different game now than when it launched. The honest truth was, they, Square Enix rushed Final Fantasy 15. They felt bad, making people wait 10 years for the game. So, when the developers for the game found out, hey, we're not close to being finished, we need more time, Square Enix said, sorry, we can't delay this game anymore, we've already delayed it 10 years. And I can understand why Square Enix did that. Okay, I understand. They're like, hey, we've already made people wait a fucking decade for this game. We really don't want to make them wait any longer. But I can also feel like if they tell you the game is not ready and they need extra time, you should have given them that fucking time. Like, they planned to have free driving in the base game. They planned to let you drive off-road. And they'd even had it in demos. But they had to take it out of the finished game sheerly for time purposes. And that was people's biggest complaint with the original game, was the no free driving and shit like that. And that was literally supposed to be in the game, they had to cancel it. And then they had to add it back a fucking year later. Either way, I get your point. Like I said, 15 isn't for everybody, but it is for me. No, that's pretty much exactly what they would have done. They tried to do. It would have came out like in 2017 if the developers got their way. I mean, stuff people, like, you know, people bitched that the last couple acts of the game, were linear, and that was literally due to them not, getting more time to release. They originally planned for the entire game to be open world. So not just, you know, the, fuck, the land of Noctis is called. But they also planned for the Empire to be open world, they planned for Altessa to be open world and have the boat in the ocean, and then they're like, well, we just don't have time to finish this game, so they started hacking shit, so... They originally, like... you were always gonna get on the train. In the second half of the game, they have you get on a train, and you're like going to, you know, the capital, and that was always gonna happen. The train was always part of the story, but originally, the train would have stopped, and you would have been able to get off the train and explore the open world. And then continue with the main story. So each of these regions would have been a stop, and they had to take that and turn it into a linear thing because they just didn't have time. Like, honestly, they legitimately only, like, half finished the fucking game. Like, that's the sad truth. Oh well, shit happens. So, you know, that's the main thing that fucked over Final Fantasy 15. They just tried to launch it. It should have launched in 2017, not in 2016. Like, they needed like another year. I have faith that it will, man. Capcom has been on a fucking roll lately, man. They have been, I mean, they have not missed. Resident Evil 7, fucking amazing. Resident Evil 2 Remake, fucking amazing. Resident Evil 3 Remake. I like Resident Evil 3 Remake. Some people want to hate on it. I still like Resident Evil 3 Remake. Resident Evil 8, fucking great. Devil May Cry 5, fucking awesome. Monster Hunter World, awesome. Mega Man 11, awesome. I love Mega Man 11. It's really good. I heard Monster Hunter Stories was really good. I haven't played Monster Hunter Stories 2, but I heard it was really good. Monster Hunter Rise was supposed to be really good. I haven't played it, but it's supposed to be really good. They managed to make a Switch game actually be good on Switch. And they managed to keep it open world like World was. Despite being on a console sucked, they fucking remade Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. That was supposed to be really good. That's on my to-do list. So, the last like 10 games Capcom has released have just been fucking hitting the nail on the head. I mean, they've had a fucking hit streak. So, motherfucker. Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm just getting mowed down by that fucking machine gun. That's fine. So, like I said, Capcom has had a fucking hit streak lately, man. So I absolutely believe they will. And apparently, one of the main reasons why, you know, okay, so for the last couple of years, we've been getting Resident Evil games every year. Resident Evil 2 Remake, 2019. Resident Evil 3 Remake, 2020. Resident Evil 8, 2021. So for the last 3 years running, we had a Resident Evil game every year. Well, apparently, we were supposed to get Resident Evil 4 Remake this year. You know, a yearly release. But Capcom was so dead set that this game has to be perfect, that there can be no mistakes with the Resident Evil 4 Remake, that they delayed it to next year. Like, it originally was supposed to come out later this year, like fall. And they were like, no, this has to be perfect, so fucking delay it to March. So, already you can see Capcom saying, if this game is not perfect, we're not going to release it. Push it back. Which is absolutely the right thing to do. Resident Evil 4 is more than just a game. It's a fucking cultural event. It helped define a generation. It helped change gaming as we know it. No, exactly. Resident Evil 4 changed gaming. It changed horror. Gears of War admitted to aping from that. Dead Space said their main inspiration was Resident Evil 4. I mean, Resident Evil 4 invented the behind-the-shoulder camera angle that all shooters now use. Just about every single third-person shooter has behind-the-shoulder camera. This game came up with it. So, if Capcom released this game, right? Made you gamer, exactly. So, Resident Evil 4 is like the holy fucking grail of video games. People love it so much. People who aren't even Resident Evil fans love 4. Like, I've talked to people who didn't really play the rest of them. They're like, yeah, I fucking love 4. So they understand that it is absolutely critical that they don't fuck this up. That they make a remake, it's gotta be really fucking good. I like Fallout 4. I played a lot of Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is really good. Oh shit. Man, that nearly killed me. Holy shit. Wow. Well, no, there's no way they can fuck that up, dude, because they're not trying to. Resident Evil 7, being what it wasn't due to accident. They made a conscious decision to fuck over the fans. And lie about it. You know, because if they had said up front, that this is a reboot, people would be like, okay, fine. They said it's extended, but it's mostly faithful. Mostly faithful my ass. And I find it weird just how many people are giving them a pass. Like, I've seen people defend it. They said, I like it better this way. I don't want to know what to expect when I'm playing a game. Why are you playing a remake then, bro? If you want to be surprised by a brand new game, don't fucking play a remake. Like, what sense does that make? And then they're like, I like being surprised. Okay, but meanwhile, okay, Last of Us 2. I'm not gonna get into a shit about whether Last of Us 2 is good, because we'll be here all fucking day. Like I said, I'm not gonna get into it because we'll be here all day. Whether Last of Us 2 is good or not, that's not the question. But The Last of Us 2 used misleading marketing. They showed Joel alive in scenes where he's not alive. And they outright put Joel in scenes he's never in. All in an effort to fool fans into Joel being alive. That's what I call misleading marketing. And people tore that game a new asshole. Rightfully so. But Final Fantasy VII Remake pulls that shit, came out the same year, and it just gets a free pass. Like, we'll rip Last of Us 2 a new asshole for lying and misadvertising. But when Final Fantasy VII does it, it's fine. For me, it's just the hypocrisy, man. You can't say it's not cool for Final Fantasy. Yeah, right. I don't really care about the gay relationship. Ellie's always been gay. I care about what they did to Joel and how they killed Joel. I think I knew he was going to die. Okay, it's just how they killed him was really shitty and contrived. They should have done it better. It's not that killed him. It was the execution that I wasn't a fan of. But either way, like I said, I'm saying, you know, be consistent. Like, people are, like, okay with it if it's Final Fantasy, but they're not okay with it for The Last of Us. So it's okay for The Last of Us to manipulate people, or 7 to manipulate people, but not The Last of Us. That's my thing. That's what got me upset. Like, people were tearing Last of Us a new asshole for misleading people, and then 7 misleading them, being a different game than was promised. This is fine. This is a totally different game than I thought I was gonna buy than what I got, but that's fine. I mean, they fucking, that's what they did. They literally watched Star Trek 9, and they're like, hey, how about we make this into a game, guys? It was fucking weird, man. But there is a silver lining. We are getting Crisis Core remastered and or remade. It actually looks more like a remake. I'm really excited about that. I am a huge fan of Crisis Core. I think that Crisis Core is one of the best PSP games ever made. I think that Crisis Core was underrated as fuck, and I think it's a shame that more people haven't played Crisis Core. It kind of flew under the radar. And Square Enix has this history. Yeah, there's a total remake. They are remaking Crisis Core for PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Series X, PC, and Switch. It's coming to everything. And I say it's more like a remake because they redid all the character models. They redid all the lighting, they redid all the textures, they redid all the foliage, and they are revoicing everything. Every line of dialogue will now be spoken. And by the way, they've already confirmed that this is not going to be a reimagining, like 7 remake was. This is a direct, faithful remake of Crisis Core. It does not change the story in any way, and it's part of the old canon. They've already said on the website and in press releases, this is not redoing Crisis Core to fit in with the new one. This is part of the old continuity. So Crisis Core story is exactly the way it's always been. It's just going to be, it's going to look way better. So and I always thought it was really weird, man, because Square has a history of porting games. The OG fucking Final Fantasy VII has been ported like 15 times. 8's been ported, 9's been ported, 10's been ported 15 times. But they never ported Crisis Core, like, ever. People are like, why? And that's all people really wanted. They're just like, let me play Crisis Core on a modern system. Just fucking port it. Put it in HD. And then they're like, not only are we porting it, we're remaking it. So I'm really excited about it. It actually comes out this year. Winter this year, so either December, well, depends. They said winter, this winter, so it's either coming out December this year or January, February of next year. Either way, it's coming out really soon. If you haven't looked into it, I would, because it actually looks really good. I watched the trailer. They're keeping the dialogue the same. They're keeping the gameplay the same for the most part. Like, they're adding camera control, because obviously the original game had shitty camera control, because PSP didn't have a second stick. They're making adjustments, but it's the same game. They're not making it into a different game. And it actually does kind of make me sad that I'm more excited for Crisis Core than I am for the next main installment. What are your thoughts on Final Fantasy 16, man? I am fucking stoked for 16. 16 looks really fucking good. Ah, fuck, of course. Like, I am unbelievably hyped for Final Fantasy 16. Fuck. You bitch. Yeah, fuck that. Okay. Well, man, if your internet's fucked up, I understand. Got him. Fucking sweet! But no, man. Like I said, I'm excited for the Crisis Core remake. Probably more than I am for fucking Final Fantasy 7. Any future parts. I'm also really excited for Final Fantasy 16. I think it's gonna be really great. It looks fucking incredible. Yeah, we got those samples.
Punctual. I like that. Is Krauser there?
He's dead.
Pity. But after all, just another expendable group. Umbrella's one step closer to its re-establishment. And once it is, there will be significant changes in our world.
Alright, I'm gonna quit this part and I'm gonna start up another part with separate ways.